Right, let's crack on this week. We're talking about I'm gonna start all that again. What a lot of load of shite. Shibble blah blah. A shibble blah. A shibble blah. Greetings, EastEnders fans, and welcome to another episode of Albert Square After Dark, your weekly EastEnders podcast. This week, discussing the episodes broadcast between the 9th and the 12th of September 2024. Hiya! How are you this week? Are you well? Joining me, as usual, is Ree. Hello, Ree. How are you this week?
I'm good, thank you. Rob, how are you?
I'm all right. So,
a bit disappointed, are we?
let's get it. Let's get this elephant in the room out of the way. Yeah. So the NTAs, all right. Obviously,
it's a fix. It's a fix. I'm joking.
We'd love to say we'd love. Not, actually. It's definitely not a fix. We'd love to say it's a fix. We would love to say it's a fix, but unfortunately, it's not. EastEnders didn't win anything at the NTAs this year, and let's be honest with you, I'm not entirely sure why. Because it's not like they've had a bad year. Do you know what I think? Is that EastEnders last year had a phenomenal year, and the rest of the soaps had a pretty down year. And I think the rest of the soaps are sort of upped their game a little bit this year
because of EastEnders.
Because of EastEnders, you know. So if anything, they should be saying we dedicate this award to EastEnders.
Well, I know that Emmerdale won, and I don't
really watch Emmerdale. No, I know that they don't,
so I can't comment fairly, to be honest.
No, I know that they've been doing quite an intense domestic violence storyline, so that's sort of been going on. They've been doing stuff like that. Corrie won best dramatic performance, best in a serial drama for Peter Ash, which we can't take away from him. He's been phenomenal in that storyline. They've been doing a motor neuron disease in storyline in that, and characters recently died. So they basically
this is an EastEnders podcast, Rob. Stop giving them even more credit.
I'm not giving them credit because trust me, right? Okay, soap awards are next. And because of that, for the Soap Awards, we ride at dawn. You hearing me? You listen to me. We vote like crazy for the Soap Awards this year. Are you listening to me? Vote. We'll get them back where they belong with some awards. Yes. But this week, I think we've had a fun old week, haven't we? We have the return of Chrissy. And not just Chrissy, it turned out. A little extra secret surprise return at the end of the week.
Kept secret at least. This is what we're talking about.
We like surprises. See, but then we were talking about surprise returns and how there's no surprises anymore. We completely forgot about Jane. That was a surprise that we weren't expecting, wasn't it?
It was true. Yeah, that is true. Actually,
I mean, we sort of worked it out, but
but it weren't announced.
Unannounced,
properly, was it? Yeah.
No.
But with Jake, I was thinking it won't have been that difficult to hide him, really, because he looked completely different at first. I didn't recognise him.
No, I didn't recognise him either.
Is that?
He's grown a beard.
It's Jake.
Grown a beard and everything. Yeah, so that was fun. So we'll talk about the Chrissy stuff and the Jake stuff and everything that went on in basically Bad Girls EastEnders style later on in the podcast. A few little things to discuss first. So let's crack on with this week's Albert Square After Dark. So let's start with talking about the events in the Vic this week. I want to say the biggest shocker of the entire week was Linda telling Elaine. I was stunned when she did that. My jaw hit the floor.
And it happened in one scene, and we didn't really see a great deal of it.
It was just casually just like, I killed Keanu, by the way. It's
well, I was kind of expecting it after she's confessed to Bernie, because you would think that news was going to get out, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And she's been to the police as well. What if the police turn up and be like, "Oh, just come because how Linda confessed to murdering Keanu last week."
She just have to sort of chat. She just have to sort of start addressing this, really, doesn't she? Well, I mean, I don't know how this is all gonna play out from here on in. I'm not sure whether this is just gonna start to slowly fade away, the Six stuff, because Dean's been given 9 years for for the rape of Linda, so that's all been sort of dealt with. And I wonder, it basically sounds now like it all rests on whether Bernie goes to the police or not. Bernie's currently in Germany seeing Keegan. So I wonder if when Bernie returns, they're just going to have scenes of her not telling, and then the Six storyline's basically over.
This is it. Sure, because she would go to the police, though. I don't understand it myself.
It feels odd. I feel like there's something that there must be more to come with it, surely.
Because Bernie's got to tell somebody as well. She can't keep all this to herself. Is she going to tell Keegan, and what's Keegan going to say? Oh, well, don't tell the police, Bernie, because I know those 6 women, and they're all
Yeah, they
really
wouldn't.
nice,
Yeah,
aren't
they were
they?
quite nice.
It don't
Yeah.
matter about our brother being killed. He's
Linda gave me a
okay.
free
You
pint
just,
once. Come on, like, let's
yeah,
be reasonable
yeah.
about this. I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens when Bernie gets back
Mm,
from Germany. But Elaine, predictably, does not deal with this confession particularly well, to say the least. She finds it
mm-hmm.
quite difficult. I thought actually there was some really good stuff with Linda and Elaine this week. I thought there was quite. It built up to a really nice moment, like towards the end of the
Yeah,
week. Well, not towards the end of the week, but like sort of at the end of this
yeah,
little storyline. But needless to say, Elaine having to deal with this basic information that Linda has killed somebody kind of spills through into what's going on with the Kojo stuff. Because Kojo sort of lashes out again this week at Johnny, and Johnny's all sort of like, "That's cool, that's fine, it happens." But Elaine basically says to George, "Well, he's got to go. This isn't working, is it? This really is not working." And Kojo overhears, basically runs away and spends the night in a public loo around the corner. I don't think we've seen these loos before, by the way. I'm always up for a new bit of set, and I don't think we've seen these loos
yeah.
before. I can't remember the
No,
last
I
time we
don't
saw
think we
them.
have. No.
I mean, that's quite a scary thing to spend a night in a public loo in London. That sounds quite terrifying, to be
Well,
honest.
that's what Gina said later on in the week.
Yeah,
She like, it must have been bad if he wanted to stay in some
yeah,
toilets rather than set you
yeah.
upstairs.
And Bobby
Yeah,
turns around
pretty
at one
bad.
point and says, "Even I don't go in there."
Yeah,
Big brave
yeah,
Bobby.
yeah, yeah.
um, so they're all frantic because Kojo's gone missing, and they have to like obviously report it to the police. George and Elaine are sort of at loggerheads because George is blaming Elaine. Elaine's trying to just deal with everything that's going on in her head. Junior eventually comes across Kojo, and I thought some nice stuff with Junior and Kojo this week. I'm sort
Yeah.
of liking that little relationship starting
Hmm.
off because Junior's got a nice car, and we know that Kojo loves a car, so Kojo is basically entertained and like presses the window washers and gets
Hmm.
Junior wet, and he's having a great time, so
Ha
he's
ha
quite
ha.
happy.
Yeah, yeah,
Ha
yeah.
ha ha. Briefly, I just want to briefly touch on the Junior and Cindy stuff that kind of is always going on in the background.
Hmm.
I'm really curious as to like what exactly is pushing Junior to do this because I feel like a lot of it is punishing George.
I think it started off as that, but now I think feelings are involved, and I
Oh,
think
I
that
think
they
there's
like the
definitely
little
feelings.
setup.
Yeah. I feel like there's
And
definitely feelings.
this is what's going to happen, isn't it? Is actually George and Junior are going to really make amends and really
Mm,
start getting on, and then
yes.
this is
Yeah,
all going to
yeah,
come
yeah, yeah.
out
And then it's
because
going to come out just as they're starting a relationship up properly. Yeah.
but but actually the reason they're going to be getting along is because Cindy's going to be in Junior's ear saying, "Come on, give your dad a chance," and helping him understand his dad better
Yeah.
because she knows both like father, like son, doesn't she, our
She
Cindy?
does. She does. I mean, yeah. I mean, sort of. I'm just really looking forward to that conversation between George and Junior when this all comes out. Like, sort of talking about Junior's motives for doing it. Because at any
Mm-hmm.
point, he could say to Cindy, "Look, I'm not comfortable with this. This is just weird. All right. Yes, I like you. Yes, we've had a great time. But at the same time, that's my dad, and you're his ex.
Yeah.
You were basically
And
my
you're the mother
stepmom at
to
some
my
point.
two
Uh,
sisters.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. We could maybe step away from this, but." At face value, Junior is just like a Lothario and is
Mm.
just wanting to basically shag anything that moves. But at the same time, I feel like there's a slightly like sort of there's another
Yeah.
undercurrent to the whole thing. It's
I
interesting.
agree. I also want to know what's happened with Junior's mum because remember
Mm,
he had that scene where he went to see her and then they'd had a falling out. So
yeah.
is everything not always okay with his mum then?
Yeah, and they also had that conversation between Junior and Lauren, where he was basically saying, "I don't like people getting too close, getting to know me that
Yes,
well."
true.
So there's the stuff that we still need to sort of unpack about Junior. It's interesting.
Maybe that's a trust issue because of his dad
Yeah,
growing up, if you want to
yeah.
psychoanalyze that, I guess.
Psychoanalyst. If we
So,
want to bring Freud into the conversation, that
well,
might be
oh no, we're not
about it.
bringing Freud into
No.
it. Well, actually, he's with his
Well,
stepmom, so
Reed knows all about Freud and Freudian theory.
I do
Um,
actually.
yeah. So that's sort of there in the back
Yes.
burner because Junior is basically sort of slightly put out by how much effort George is making with Kojo, and he's sort of like, well, where was this effort with me and you? So I feel that's why I feel like there's also an addition as
Mm.
and there's an element of punishment to the whole thing as well.
You still, well, there is, that is how it started. And yeah, I don't know. It's hard to see though, because we've not seen that much actually, of George and Junior.
Mm.
not especially
Not huge
recently, but he
amounts,
does
no.
seem to be softening a bit towards his
Yeah.
dad. But is he
So I
still trying to
think.
punish him? Is that where it's still about? It's not just that they love the chase, don't they? And the secret, like the secret of it all,
Yeah, I
him
think
and
it's.
Cindy. That's
Yeah,
the push, I
it's a
think,
bit
at
of
the
a double-edged
minute.
sword for them, I think. I think you're right, though. Ultimately, this is going to go into George and Junior becoming closer, so that
Yeah.
when the moment and the revelations happen,
Mm,
it's all the more explosive. That's where it's going to
yeah.
go. But yeah,
Mm.
I am so excited for that revelation because it's going to be huge because there's
It's going to
so
be
many.
Christmas. This is going
It's
to be the
got to be
Christmas
Christmas.
reveal, I
Yeah,
think.
it's got to be
Yeah.
Christmas. I think. Like, yeah, 100%. It's all going to come
Mm.
out. They're all the Beals and all the knights are going to be around the Christmas table, and then
Yeah,
it's somehow
exactly.
going to come out, and it's going to be huge, and a turkey will be thrown. I cannot wait.
I hope so. That'd be
Oh, why
good.
wouldn't you throw a turkey in that scenario? You know, it's going to be fascinating.
Mm.
Elaine throwing it at Cindy's head. It lands on her head like something out of Mr. Bean. It's going to be marvelous. Right. So Um, the Kojo stuff kind of like so George and Kojo talk because Kojo's sort of like, well, if Elaine doesn't want me here, I want to go home, and then
Mm-hmm.
sort of really gets fixated on going home. And George and Kojo start talking about their mum, and George obviously has no
Oh, yeah.
memories apart from the tape recording that Ollie destroyed. So Elaine is overhearing this and thinks like, there's a way I can make amends here. Takes the tape, puts it in a between her boobs because everything that Elaine owns goes down the top. You know, she
Yeah,
can
but
empty her top. Half a garage comes out. It's
you don't
marvelous.
have many pockets on women's clothing though, to be
Is
fair,
that a
Rob.
thing? Is that
Sometimes
not?
there's
Do you not have
nowhere else to put
pockets?
things.
Do you not have pockets?
No, Rob, it's so rare for women's clothing to have
Is it?
genuine. No, genuinely, did
That
you not
sounds like
know
a.
this?
But you've got more stuff than we have, so sure that
Exactly.
makes no
Yeah.
sense. Whose idea
No,
was that?
because Rob, they want the women to buy the bags to
Buy the
put the things
bags.
in. Yes,
Yes,
this is what it's
yes.
all about. No, women genuinely don't have that many pockets on clothes. That's the
That's
thing.
well, I that seems
See?
ridiculous to me. I mean, it
So
seems
this is why
ridiculous.
Elaine's using a bra
This
all the
shirt
time.
I've got on now has pockets. I'm not even carrying anything at the
Do you know
moment.
what? Actually, I have got a pair of trousers on that have got
Yeah,
pockets
I
in,
got
and it's so
pockets.
rare. And I'm like, oh my God, I've got pockets. It's such a
Well,
good day.
when you've got Elaine, that shows you where you need to put everything. Just put it down your bra. That'd be fine. So,
Don't need pockets.
you know, so Elaine takes this tape to, and I quote, a geek she's met on the high street. This could be anybody, but basically gets the recording put on a memory stick so that the recording is saved. The recording of Georgie's mum singing is saved, and him and Kojo have this nice moment of listening to the mum singing,
Hmm.
and George basically forgives everything. Kojo agrees to stay, and all is well. Which sort of pushes Elaine now to deal with the immediate issue of her family. And it's been so interesting watching this week because Elaine has really struggled with the elements of comforting Linda.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
was a couple of sort of sad moments where Linda was basically just trying to reach out to her, and Elaine was like, "I've got to go out. I've got to go. Bye." Just sort of walks out the room until we get the moment at the end of this little story where Elaine and Linda are sort of in bed together and they're talking and they're actually having a really honest, heartfelt conversation. And sort of saying that Elaine always felt a little bit outside of the relationship between Linda and her dad. Like Linda was the one that Linda has always turned to her dad for like bedtime stories and everything. And
Comfort and
Elaine,
stuff, yeah.
yeah, and Elaine was never really sort of that motherly with her.
Mm.
So it's sort of
Which is
interesting
an
to explore
unusual
that.
dynamic of the
Yeah,
time that would have been
yeah, yeah,
happening
yeah.
as well, really. But I don't know, there's something about Elaine. We're getting a lot of slap the makeup on and pretend everything's all right and give away a
Ah,
few drinks, drinks on the house.
yeah.
Like this front, when are we going to get to the bottom of the
I think
mystery of Elaine?
this is the
Is
start
it
of it. I think,
starting?
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what I really like with Elaine is that because so many people like criticize Elaine, saying that she's like not a good person, but this is what you want out of a character.
Yeah.
These are deliberate layers they're putting
It
into
took me a
Elaine.
while to click with Elaine though and
Yeah,
realise that it was actually all deliberate
he's got to.
kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
There's got to be something. I want to know what it is with Elaine though. Like, is it something to do with how she was brought up? Like,
yeah.
I
I think
feel
there's maybe
like
elements of
it's
that.
probably of her time. It would have been her mum
Mm.
probably said to her, "Slap some
Mm.
makeup on and pretend everything's all right.
Yeah,
We
this
don't
is the
talk about our
barmaid.
problems."
This is
And
the London East End barmaid way,
mm,
isn't it? She's
yeah,
from the same school of Knox as Peggy would have been. Like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
you put your makeup on, ignore all your emotional issues, and go out onto
yeah,
stage
yeah,
effectively and
and
sort of
perform.
perform,
Yeah.
entertain and entertain the punters, and out a few drinks on the ass, and everything's fine.
Yeah,
And you're basically
yeah.
the woman of the hour without having to deal with all the hard emotional stuff going on at home. And Elaine arguably didn't really have that, from what we know, didn't have that much to deal with, apart from the fact, Linda obviously had the bulimia. She struggled with that, but
Is that going
apparently,
to rear its head again, by the
I
way?
don't
Now
know.
that
I don't think so. I think that was just more mentioned because
just a moment.
just to sort of bring up the difficulties that the two of them have had in
Mm.
emotionally connecting over the years. Um, and it sort of ends with Elaine sort of hugging her and saying, "It's all right, you're my girl, I'm here." So we'll sort of see how that plays out. But I really want to sort of see more of their sort of roller coaster relationship, because obviously without Mick now, this is going to be sort of the emotional relationship in Linda's life. So I really want to sort of see that play out over the next few years, really. It's going to be interesting.
Did you think it were a bit harsh when Linda like confessed and then Elaine and then said, "Oh, I'm going to make you Annie and Ollie's legal guardians"? And
Well, I thought it
Elaine
was
like, "What? No
yeah, it
thanks."
wasn't interested in that, including when she turned around and was just like, "What, even the autistic one?"
Yeah,
Effectively,
and
was what
one's
she was saying.
autistic as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
struggle with that. It's just like, what do you expect, Elaine? Like, this is your grandkids. Now,
yeah,
obviously, I
yeah.
think it's more the fact that you expect, it's one thing to sort of look like take care of your kids if you've, sadly died or something, but the fact that you've gone to prison for murder and I'm just being left to pick up the pieces from that is maybe where her head was at. I don't know, but
I just
it's
thought,
interesting.
regardless, like, they're your
Yeah,
grandkids. It's not like she didn't know him. They live with her already. It'd just be
yeah,
like, I don't
yeah,
know. I thought I was like, at first I was like, that is super harsh and I can't
yeah,
get past this, Elaine. And then I also thought, oh, you have just found out your daughter murdered
yeah,
someone downstairs with meat thermometer. So maybe you're
yeah.
just trying to
It
let
was
that
interesting.
sink in
Sort
and it's
it was
all a bit of a
interesting,
shock
sort
to
of
the
seeing
system.
Elaine putting all the little pieces together about the meat from. Oh, so
Yeah.
that's why you went a bit
That's why
crazy
you
at
freaked out on
Easter.
Easter.
Yeah,
And
that makes
you
sense.
knew then, Johnny,
Yes,
because
you
like,
knew.
yeah.
Yeah, and I
Mm.
nearly chucked
You
you
weren't happy
out.
with him.
No,
Mm.
interesting. I like this dynamic between Linda and Elaine, and the Johnny
Is she
element
gonna
is interesting as well.
Is Elaine going to tell George then, or is she thinking it's going to put too much extra pressure on George with what he's got going
I
on with
just
Kojo and everything else?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I feel like the two are going to be kept quite separate at this
Do you
stage. I feel
reckon?
like, yeah, she might mention it to George at some point, but I feel like that'll be much
Mm,
further down the line when it becomes sort of irrelevant, really. Like, I think George
mm.
will inevitably find out at some point, but I can't see really how George's knowledge of it will really influence the storyline or anything.
Yeah, fair enough.
And it would be
Yeah.
weird for George to find out before Eve does. Let's be weird. Let's be fair here,
Oh
because
yeah, that is
Eve
so.
should be
Yeah,
much
you
higher
still.
up the list of
Yeah.
people that find out. Chrissy knows what's gone on before Eve does. That's just weird.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
There we go. So we'll see how that all plays out. Right, on to the next storyline, and this is Anna, Freddie, and Bobby. So Anna is up the duff, isn't she? Um,
I like
Hey, hey,
that.
hey, hey, hey. It's one of the best
Eh,
EastEnders jokes you can possibly do, that one, I tell you.
yeah.
Um, can I just say, I cannot imagine Bobby doing that. It's bless him. I
Doing
just
what? Making a baby.
making the Mr. Lover. I can't see it really. It's just an odd. I mean, obviously they do because they're in a relationship, but some people you just can't imagine doing it. And Bobby is one of those people. Bless him. I just can't.
Maybe you don't need to imagine him
Maybe I
doing
don't
it,
need
Rob.
to.
Maybe you've
Maybe I
overthought
don't.
this.
Maybe I should stop just sitting there imagining fictional characters having sex. Maybe
Maybe
that's
you
what I
should
should
just
do.
accept that he has done it,
Yeah,
you
maybe
know?
that's it. Um, basically, basically, this week is all about Anna and Freddie and them fighting their feelings for one another.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I'm struggling. Whose side are you on with this? Like, is this? I feel sorry for Bobby because this is all going to go really, really badly for Bobby. But Anna and Freddie, I mean, I guess they're fighting their feelings. Freddie is really struggling with this internally, like, because obviously Bobby's his best mate. He's struggling with
Mm.
that. So,
I'm on Freddie's side out of everyone, to be honest. He's
okay.
not acted on it. He's been trying to avoid Anna. Feels really
Yeah.
bad, but
Yeah.
clearly he loves her. So, and he was, what would you call it? Fantasize? No, maybe not fantasizing.
Well,
You were when you were away, you were doing all the drawings. He clearly was
yes.
thinking
This isn't
about her a
the
lot, but he didn't know that she was with Bobby
No.
during all that time until he got
This
back.
isn't the first time we've seen his doodlings of Anna, is it?
No,
They're very good, to be fair. He's a very good
very good
artist, isn't he? He's
doodles.
very, very
Yeah,
good
very
artist. I
good,
don't know
very
who's done
talented.
them. Whoever's been
Yeah,
doing those drawings in the prop department, fair play, because they're really,
yeah,
really
well
good.
done.
Um, but yeah, this is basically Anna has kind of got the impression that Freddie is ignoring her and is trying to avoid her, and she's sort of like, "Well, what have I done?" Because obviously Anna
Yeah.
has feelings for him too. We are sort of discovering, and Gina. The problem is Gina. I'm not entirely on Gina's side with any of this because she's basically encouraging this, and it's not great, really, is it? Because Anna,
No.
I think Anna does have feelings for Bobby, but they're not as intense as the feelings for Freddie, and I feel like Gina is pushing Anna into doing the wrong thing with this.
She should be pushing her to say, is it everything's not okay with you and Bobby, rather than go and jump on Freddie.
Yeah,
That's what she should be doing. But
yeah,
instead it's like, oh, go and find out what's happening with Freddie, instead of like maybe sort
yeah,
out the relationship that you're in first
yeah.
and
Because
then decide if you want to act on that.
Yeah, because they're supposed to have Freddie, Gina, Bobby, and Anna are supposed to like be going to Walford East for like a group dinner because that's the only way Freddie will do it. Because like if there's four people there, that's fine.
Yeah.
That won't feel weird. But Bobby is busy stuck at Beale's Eels, and Gina literally says, "No, you're all right, thanks. You two have fun." So they're left like just sat there awkwardly with one another, with Priya making awkward conversation with them. I
Brilliant,
love
brilliant
her, love
scenes.
her,
Just
love
love
her.
Priya.
You're not
Love
going to give me a
her.
tip. I love her. I love her. I love her. Um, and Gina's sort of annoyed by that, storms over to Freddie, and then discovers the drawings in the book. And Freddie's sort of forced to confess, yes, I do have feelings for her, but can you not tell her, please? Because that would make things really, really awkward. Can you not? And Gina's like, no, I promise I won't. Promise I won't. Then sprints across the square to tell Anna absolutely
Anna,
everything.
guess what? Guess what?
Guess what?
Yeah.
Guess what? Um, Meanwhile, Anna's been getting a few little dizzy spells.
She has indeed,
Did you
hasn't
get dizzy
she?
spells? This seems to be quite a soapy thing when someone's about to discover they're
No.
pregnant. Did you get dizzy spells? Like, is this a thing? I know it's a thing, but like, it's not.
No, but I also didn't get one bout of morning sickness, so I'm probably
Did you
the wrong
not?
person. No, I didn't throw up once when I was pregnant.
Wow,
Not once. I know.
that's mad. That's
I
because that
know.
seems like the thing that you do, if anything. Even if you have the
I
most
got
easiest pregnancy in the world, you have to be you throw up
no,
at some point.
I didn't throw up once.
That's mad.
I got bouts of evening sickness. So
Oh,
I had nausea in an evening,
but
but
not
I didn't get
actually throwing up.
no, didn't
You know
actually
what
throw
that
up.
is? That is years and years of training with me and you drinking madly in bars and you being able to say, no, I can hold it. It's fine. It's fine.
Like genuinely, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
probably is. I trained you well for your pregnancy. You're
But
welcome.
no, now I'm yeah, thanks, Rob. Thanks for that
It's mate.
help.
That's all right, mate. No
Saying
worries.
that though, when I think about the evening nausea I had, it weren't so much dizziness, but you were a bit like
Yeah,
something's not right. So yeah,
yeah. You can
you
sort
do
of
get
yeah,
them kind of things, yeah.
and if you don't know what's actually happening, because maybe I think
Yeah,
you sort of deal with it better because you know, oh, I'm pregnant,
yeah,
so I'm going to feel
yeah,
weird. But if you
yeah,
don't know you're pregnant, maybe that comes across as like, oh my God, I feel weird. That's like yeah. So
yeah.
maybe it's more that sort of thing.
Mm,
Do you get cravings?
yes,
What
I
did you
did.
crave?
I craved pickled onion monster munch in my
Uh,
first trimester. I
uh,
know, I know.
that's the
Loved them.
worst.
And
Did you like them before?
mature No, not really. Weren't that
No.
fussed. And mature cheese salad sandwiches. I never used to like mature cheese. And then for some reason, yeah, I didn't. Oh, cloudy lemonade, spicy scrambled eggs.
Just a list of
A
different foods,
list.
basically.
Well,
Yeah,
not many. This, that, the other
yeah.
one. I was talking about it the other day, actually. That's why I'm like reeling it off. So
My
yeah, a
auntie,
few.
my auntie used to eat coal.
Oh, she was iron deficient then.
Yeah, yeah. Used to like eat
Yeah.
little pieces of coal, which I thought
Called
was the
pica.
weirdest thing. Which I thought was the weirdest thing I've ever heard in my
It
life.
is
But
weird.
apparently it's a thing.
Yeah.
It's a thing. So
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Anyway,
Anywho.
Anna's sort of like starting to feel a bit weird. Freddie and Anna are sort of awkwardly going together. At the same time, Bobby and Freddie have a bit of a falling out because Bobby's sort of
Oh, of
like,
course, yeah.
what are you avoiding Anna for? And maybe I should
You're
get a better
upsetting my
friend then. If I
girlfriend.
upset my
Yeah.
girlfriend, I'm like probably being a lad about it. It's like, all right, Bobby.
Calm down, Bobby.
Yeah, and they sort of like go their separate ways, and Freddie's feeling awful.
Mm.
Meanwhile, Gina and Anna do a pregnancy test, and it turns out that she's very much pregnant. So, what is going to happen with this? How is this going to play out? What's going to happen?
Well, we've already been seeing Anna having doubts about her and Bobby. We know, spoiler alert, Nino, Bobby's leaving.
Yes, so this is the start of Bobby's exit storyline, isn't
I'm
it?
it's for me, it's either going to be a miscarriage or abortion, and I'd quite like to see an abortion storyline.
Well, I reckon Cindy's going to get involved with this, and she's
Oh.
not going to want Anna to give birth to Bobby's baby. So I reckon that
No, she wouldn't do so. No.
no, she wouldn't do that, would she? She's far too angelic. Of course she would. Of course she would.
No, I don't believe that.
Yeah.
What do you think she's going to do? Make her lose
No, but
it?
I think she's going. No, 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 no. I think she's
Oh,
going to.
what are you
I think she's
saying?
going to. I think she's going to encourage Anna to have an abortion.
Oh, I see. Right.
Because
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
gonna, because I think
Got you.
what'll happen is that Gina and Cindy will talk, and Cindy will
Yeah.
see a way. Oh, so Freddie's the one you're after. Oh, well, in which case then I'd get rid of that baby if I were you, because that's the only way that's going to work. So I think she'll encourage
Mm.
Anna to have the abortion because she doesn't want any. Because if, as far in an ideal world, Bobby wouldn't
Mm.
be a part of her life. So I think that if she
Mm.
can get rid of Bobby this way, that'll work perfectly for her. You know?
Rather than know he's there forever.
Yeah, yeah,
I think that Anna will make up her own mind, though. I'd like to
maybe.
see that, though. I'd like to see it be Anna's decision if she does go down the
Mm,
abortion route, because we know about
yeah,
how things are in America and stuff. So
yeah,
I'd
yeah,
like to
yeah.
see it. I'd like to see it from this is the
The
woman's choice.
choice
She's
angle. Yeah,
wanted to
yeah,
do
yeah,
this,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that's okay because it is okay. You know what I
Mm,
mean?
mm.
So I'd actually really like to see that. Perhaps Bobby's hurt by it. I could imagine Bobby wanting to keep it.
Oh yeah, 100%. Bobby, when Bobby
Yeah.
finds out, he will be like, right, okay, well, that's fine. I
Yeah.
work at Beals Eels and I will just do lots and lots of hours.
Hmm.
We've got this. You sit and relax. Everything will be fine. I'll go and walk all
Yeah.
the hours God sends, and we'll be absolutely fine.
Yeah.
He will throw himself into this head on.
He'll
He'll
propose, Bobby, if he
propose.
finds
Yeah,
out. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, poor Bobby. Poor Bobby. I
Mm.
really feel for him. This is going to be awful. I can't see Bobby
I see,
upset.
I don't know that Anna will tell, or Gina will tell Cindy. I think it's going to be a little sister thing that they keep
Okay.
under wraps between each other. Perhaps Gina will help Anna go get the abortion and she won't ever tell Bobby about it because she knows that Bobby would want
Mm,
to keep it.
yeah.
Then Bobby finds out, and then he finds out about the Freddie thing, and then
Mm,
that's when it all goes. Yeah, maybe.
tits up. Yeah.
But we don't think she's keeping it either way with
And this is for weird.
what
We've
we're
not even considered the
speculating.
option that she might just keep the baby. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
No,
I
I
don't
don't think
know.
she will.
Well, it feels weird to keep it and then to lose Bobby, because where's the
Yeah.
story there
Yeah.
exactly? Other than the
Yeah.
fact that it gives Bobby a reason to come back.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't think it kind of seems obvious that if Bobby's going, then this baby isn't going to be a
Mm.
thing. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But it's going to be hard for Bobby, I think, and that's going to be hard for me because I love Bobby, so I don't like seeing Bobby upset.
No.
So that's going to be rough.
What we did have though was a little mention of the spiking again, which has not been brought up since it happened, really. She
Right.
said that's why she might have forgotten to take a pill. I'm just saying, we've not
Oh,
really
right.
heard
Okay.
anything. We had all that big spiking
Yeah.
storyline and nothing really happened with it, did
Yeah,
it?
I think that's more. Yeah, it's the whole spiking thing was weird. I think it's just
Mm.
more to do. I think this is supposed to be an evidence of how Bobby is just sort of so dedicated to Anna that he's kind of going to throw himself into
Yeah.
absolutely anything, and like this is why he's going to feel like he has to be by her side throughout the whole thing. Because
Mm.
that brief time when he wasn't there for the spiking thing,
Okay, got you.
knowing the way Bobby's mind works,
Yeah.
that will be enough. Well, because I wasn't here, that means terrible things happen because that's kind of
Yeah.
how Bobby's head works. So
Okay, yeah, yeah, I can
yeah, I
see
think
that.
that's going to make things trickier for him as well. So
Yeah. Mm.
sad. But honestly, I think Cindy's going to be involved somewhere along the way. I really do.
Okay,
We'll see. We'll
fair
see what
enough.
happens. Right, ladies and gents, on to the big storyline of the week. It's Prisoner E20H. So, Sharon's week inside begins. There are many elements to this. Like, it was a fun old blast this week with the whole Chrissy stuff, but there's so many elements to it that I'm just like, is that a thing? I mean,
Yeah,
I did wonder whether it was going to be addressed that I mean, maybe this does happen, but I can't see it happening. That a woman who tells the judge to shut his mouth gets
I
put on the
know.
same wing as a murderer. Is that a
Well,
thing? Does that happen?
we said this last week, but it is what it is. I mean, the fact that
Yeah,
she even went to jail for what she said and the
yeah,
whole court case
that
itself.
judge
I
was a
mean,
dick. That's why.
let's just
Yeah,
take it as, yeah,
yeah.
they didn't want
Do you know
Sharon to
what?
go behind bars for too long. They
The
wanted a
the thing
week of her
is,
in jail.
yeah, I mean, the thing is, I don't care because it was fun, and you sort of, it's one of those storylines where you just sort of just like, yeah, all right, whatever.
Well, this is
Like
kind
having
of how I felt all week,
yeah.
really, because I was like, was there any need to bring Chrissy back if she's just back for this week? What was the point? But it was a bit of fun. That's
It was a
it.
bit of fun, but then I also was quite amazed by some of the parallels that they actually managed to get out of the Chrissy stuff. I
Yeah,
thought I was
true.
because I didn't see that at all. So
No.
I mean, we'll discuss this. So Sharon's week inside, and she's got a new cellmate. Can we briefly discuss Door? All right, I love
Doreen.
Door. I love Door. Doesn't answer the
Ah,
window, only Door, and I'm obsessed with her. I love her. I want
I
her as a
saw
regular character.
I saw somebody online though be like, why are we in this like Dickensian, film all of a sudden? And I was like, I could not stop thinking of Oliver. And she was like,
Yeah.
exercise of more bosom, more porridge, sir.
I love her.
I did keep thinking that all way
She's so
through after.
eccentric. Yeah, I know. Yeah, she just every time she left the cell, she's like any old iron, any old iron, any old iron. I love her.
You got to pick a pocket or
Or
two,
two.
boy. Yeah,
She's
she was
great. She's so eccentric, and what I really want is because her and Sharon got quite close by the end of the week, and what I really want is for Dawn to go and visit Sharon on Walford. There's so much potential there for a character like Dawn.
I did think this, or is it like if somebody else next goes to jail, Sharon will be like, just find Dawn, she'll sort you out.
Dawn will sort you out.
You.
Yeah. But like imagine Dawn comes to visit Sharon on the square and then starts working at the laundrette because we've noticed that she's got a proclivity for working in laundrette. Her and
Yolandi.
Yes. Her and Yolandi would be a snout. I haven't heard it called that in years. A snout for a cigarette.
Yeah, since Dickensian times.
I know, it's Dickensian, that's why. She probably thinks it's good for you. She's like Victorian. It's like, oh, no, this is what everyone does, and this is good. It keeps me alive. Like imagine her and Yolandi having to work together. That'd be hilarious. Like those two would like bounce off each other really quite. And I also really want to see her kind of coming in and she meets Phil. And what we get from there is like this really reluctant sort of motherly relationship between Phil and like in the end.
It all worked out,
oh, I think she'd be great. I think there's a massive place for Dora on the square. I really do. Bring her in full time.
Maybe that's why we didn't, because I wanted to know what she was in there for, and we didn't find out. So maybe that's why.
She was nothing. She was innocent. She was innocent. Leave the door open for Dor. There we go. The door is wide open for Dor. Let me tell you. But Dor basically discovers that Sharon's name is Watts, and sort of goes, "Oh, well, that's interesting," and sort of wanders next door to Chrissy's cell. And it's like someone next cell you might know, and then two of them come face to face, and it was really, really interesting because I did not see the parallels between this story with Sharon and the way the whole Den story played out with Chrissy. The parallels there were ridiculous.
Why did we not see it sooner?
They don't just throw this shit together, Ree. Let me tell you.
It's like they thought it all through or something.
I know. When did that start happening? Like they think these things through. What's going on?
I know.
I thought it was genius. I really, really did. I was amazed. Like, of course, they are so similar because of this. Like the way and just the way that everything played out with Zoe was exactly the way it played out with Linda and Sharon. It was so like clever the way they managed to parallel.
Well, should we explain it for anybody who may not have watched? No, but I mean, shall we explain it?
We'll go for it. Yeah, go on then, Ree.
So Chrissy was in a fight with Den. Well, not in a fight. Den attacked Chrissy. He was bashing her head against a jukebox.
So violent, that scene, isn't
really
it?
Violent. Really I didn't remember how violent it was.
I don't think they'd get away with that now, in all honesty. I think it was quite violent the way that played out. Carry on.
And then Sam and Zoe were witnessing it, and Zoe hits Den over the head with something, and it looks like
the bust, yeah.
Oh, and they all think. I don't think
it wasn't the bust. It was Pauline's doorstop, I think, actually. I don't know why it was in there. I can't remember why it was in the vape, but it was Pauline's.
I don't remember it being as big. So anyway,
yeah, no, it was Pauline's doorstop.
Zoe hits him over the head.
Yes.
He appears to be dead.
Yes.
And Chrissy walks off saying something to him while she thinks he's dead on the floor, and then Den reaches his hand out and grabs her leg, and
you'll never have the Vic.
Finishes him off. Yeah, that's it. Then Chrissy hits him, then kills him. Sam Mitchell's witness to all this, so she knows that actually Chrissy killed him, but Chrissy lets them think that it was Zoe still. So Zoe, bless her, is fretting, and then they bury Den under the cellar floor of the Queen Vic.
Yeah,
there are quite a few parallels in there. Obviously, some different situations as well, but
it does. Can I just say, it does briefly make you think, why didn't they just bury Keanu under the Vic? I mean, I get it. Oh, actually, no.
Why did they do it under the Vic? No, back then, was there a reason? Were it being dug up already or something?
I just think it's just for convenience sake. And actually, thinking about it now, I have a feeling.
Three of them.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, I have a feeling now I think about it, there's a reason they didn't bury Keanu under the Vic, because I think they were going to, and then Sharon was like, no, I can't put him there. No, been there. No, thank you. I can't have another person that I love in there. Thank you very much. No. So that's why he ended up in the cat.
Yeah.
But just the way it played out was sort
Mm.
of like, wow, the parallels there are ridiculous. And it's really interesting, this whole thing with Sharon and Chrissy, because they were quite good friends at one point.
Mm.
And just the way that they managed, because one of the things that you don't realize about Sharon is the fact that yes, she obviously hates Chrissy for killing her dad, her adopted dad, but also what Chrissy is somebody that makes Sharon like have to confront the fact that Den was a bad person, and it
Yes, there
doesn't
is
go
that,
with
yeah.
The memories that she likes to kind of think about with Den. It's like, no, Chrissy is there as an example of what a bad person he actually was, and she's never comfortable with confronting that head on.
Yeah,
So
very true.
for those two to be sort of thrust into the situation together with these parallels, and for Sharon to actually realize, I can kind of see how your life played out. We handled it differently, but actually the situation wasn't that far apart. I thought was really, really clever the way they
It
managed to do
was.
that. Fair play.
I mean, you know, the first chat they had,
Yeah.
I was like, it all felt really genuine from Chrissy to me, but Sharon
Yeah.
was the one who weren't believing any of it.
Understandably. Yeah.
I wasn't sure how the week were going to go though, because I was like, well, obviously you've not just brought them in to get along with each other. Something's got to be
No.
going on, but I couldn't quite figure out how it was going to go.
Well, then come the revelations, because as it turns out, Chrissy was pregnant when Sharon smacked her one in Stansted Airport. And obviously Chrissy was about to run off with Jake at the time. And as far as Chrissy was concerned, at that moment, Jake and baby Jake were just going to go off.
Jake Jr.
And Jake Jr. were about to go. I mean, that was another thing, wasn't it? Like Jake Jr., Dennis Jr., like they just kept throwing these parallels around.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And so Chrissy was sort of all ready to start this new life and started running away. And because of Sharon dressing her up, that was all pulled away. And then she lost the baby. So there's a lot.
It was all Sharon's fault.
It was all Sharon's fault. No, it was all
She would have
Sharon's
got
fault.
away with it if it wasn't for Sharon.
If it wasn't for that meddling Sharon, she'd have got away with it.
Exactly.
So you can kind of sort of, I mean, obviously it's completely warped logic that it's Sharon's fault at all. But as far as Chrissy's concerned, she needs someone to blame, because Chrissy has never been the sort of person who's going to blame herself for anything.
Accountable.
Yes. So this sort of sets a war off between the two of them. She sets two of her. The fact that Chrissy basically owns the prison, by the way, as well. Like, she is in charge of that place.
The fact that she's so glam, but
yeah, she's Yvonne Atkins.
Obviously, everyone's online saying, "Oh, come on," with her hair and her makeup, and she's all dolled up. But really, if you think that she is the queen of the jail, let's say, right, that is actually quite believable, because she's going to have whoever hairdressers are doing her hair every day for her. She's going to be able to get makeup off.
And she could do her own hair, because she used to do hairdressing, of course, so she could sort her own hair out.
Yeah, exactly.
In fact,
so it's not actually that.
In fact, I was expecting, instead of the whole kettle thing that played out, I thought she was going to go at Sharon with a pair of scissors like she did Kate.
Oh, yeah.
I thought they were going to throw that in.
Good, yeah, but well, apparently a kettle's much easier to acquire than a pair of scissors in a
jail. Do they have kettles in prison cells? Is that allowed? It feels like a bad idea.
For this reason, you'd think that it feels like do it.
I mean, you know, I'd struggle
with a ready-made weapon.
Yeah, boiling water. I think that's not a good idea to put in a prison cell somehow. I feel
unless
you have to earn it.
Maybe Chris has blackmailed them to allow her to have a kettle, but then how would we know? We don't know what you were allowed. But it wasn't even.
Yeah, because Chrissy is also getting cigarettes brought to her and like smoking them in her cell. So I imagine that there's a level of I imagine there's a level of influence there that she sort of managed to accomplish over everybody there, because she basically is head honcho in that prison. Like, she owns everybody. Everybody else is walking around like looking like a dog's dinner.
Scared of her.
Yeah, like looking rough, and Chrissy sat there glam and smoking a cigarette and basically sipping a martini. Like, she is just the queen of the prison. And people owe her debts, so she's managed to get this like woman.
But she's manipulative, Chrissy. So it's kind of believable.
So you get it. Yeah, within the context of the story, you sort of get it all. So she basically, this woman owes her a debt, so she says, right, well, if you want this debt paid off, you'll sort her out. Because Sharon, you know, they have this conversation. Sharon's sort of like, all right, fair. You know, there's stuff I can see. Thanks to events in my own life, I can sort of see how yours might have played out. So I forgive you. And that really puts Chrissy's nose out of joint. She doesn't want Sharon's forgiveness at all. Especially because she blames Sharon for being in prison in the first place. And she's like, oh, you're patronizing me with your forgiveness, are you, bitch? Right, okay, then let's sort this out. So she gets this mate basically sorts Sharon out, which in prison term means kill, effectively, doesn't it? That's what you
thought
mean.
it was just a prison facelift, she said.
Yes, it was the same thing, I think.
The hospital wing, not quite kill, I reckon.
No, well, punish Sharon, basically. Punish her very, very badly for everything that's gone wrong in Chrissy's life. And this all sort of culminates in the pair of them, like we said, with the kettle. Because when Chrissy first arrived in prison, Sam was able to establish some contacts in there. And Chrissy had a rough few months in prison when she first arrived, including some scarring on her arm that was done because somebody poured boiling water over her.
Yes.
Which, again, goes to prove that kettles are not a good thing to put in a prison cell.
Right.
You know, you thought they'd have learned that lesson after the first time it happened, but clearly not.
You know how we all need our teamwork. Come on.
Yeah, the thing is, I'd struggle. I think if I had to go to prison, I'd be like, right, I need to do a Chrissy here. I need kettles and I need tea bags. I need the whole lot.
That's what you'd be blackmailing prison guards for. I would as well, actually.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. So there we are. So this argument all culminates, and the prison guards burst in at the last moment, just before Sharon. Well, at first she looks like she's going to get a Glasgow smile, doesn't she? And then the kettle gets turned on. The prison guards burst in just at the right moment, and Chrissy's taken away for segregation. Now, what we haven't mentioned is the fact that Chrissy's parole hearing. Chrissy is about to get out of prison. The way it's all played out, it's mad that Chrissy leaves prison and Sharon is still in there. I know, right? And this kind of puts Chrissy's parole in a bit of risk, because being put in segregation the day before your parole hearing probably isn't your wisest move, really.
Yeah, it's not.
And Sharon, kind of quite rightly, is about to report everything that happened to the governor. And Gavnat, and Chrissy is sort of like, can you not, actually? Didn't really think this through. Can you not report me to the governor? Because that means I have to stay here. I'd quite like to leave. Can you not?
Even Chrissy's pals, before she did anything, were like, come on, Chrissy,
are you sure about
get released tomorrow?
Like, why bother?
Do you want to ever get out of here or what?
Who cares? You've been here 19 years. Like, surely it's time to go, you know? So again, they sort of have a heart-to-heart, and then you sort of start to appreciate, like, Sharon having to confront the fact that Den was not a great person, and because of everything that sort of played out with Keanu, she's received a level of understanding about it, which I think has finally given her closure about the Chrissy and Den situation.
Yeah, definitely. But
go on.
Is it all over though? Because obviously then when Chrissy leaves, she's like, oh, we should meet up, Sharon. And Sharon's like, no, we've agreed.
That's enough.
Leave it there.
Let's not be best mates.
We've had a week together.
Yeah.
You nearly burnt me with a kettle.
I think we're fine
let's part ways.
Yeah, I think we're all good now.
Is that the end of Chrissy though? Because I think so. I'm wondering if she's going to come back for the 40th for some big thing as well.
I feel like there's no reason for her to. I really do. I feel like they've managed. I feel what basically they've done, because what we should mention, the last scene of the week, Chrissy is released. She comes out, and the first thing she wants to do is just sort of take one last look at the Vic, where basically her life changed forever, essentially.
I guess, yeah.
And she met Jake, who she gives a call to, and Jake is back on the scene. We see Jake for the first time in years. Yeah, and he's alive, because read Jake's backstory.
Well, we thought when he left, he had beef with the Mitchells and Johnny Allen. And as Jake was leaving the square, we all thought it was happy. He was getting a bit of a Julius theme. He was like, and
that record scrap.
Rewind. It comes face to face with some of Johnny Allen's thugs. And we never quite knew if he got out of that alive or not. So we've had some closure on that as well.
Yeah, Jake's very much alive.
Yeah.
Jake is very much alive and driving around in a red Jaguar. Drives with a beard, and drives Chrissy to the Vic, just so they can both have one little last look at Walford. There's a brief moment where Alfie and Jake nearly meet again, his second cousin. They nearly cross paths, but they don't quite. And Chrissy and Jake basically just drive off into the sunset together. And that, I feel, is very much the end of Chrissy's story. I don't think there's any.
But why then? So what was she back for a week for then? Like,
just because it'd be nice just to see, just for the lols, Yeah, it gives Sharon that little bit of closure with the Den stuff. I think it was a good character moment for Sharon to sort of finally put that to rest. I think, not everything.
I didn't hate the week. I actually quite enjoyed all the jail stuff, but
yeah, it was camp. It was fun.
I am just a bit like, why bother then? But okay,
No,
it is what it is.
I think it's just, and also I think the fact that we've also got to accept this is the run up to the 40th now, and I think we're going to get quite a lot of this going forward.
Okay, so it's just going to be okay, right? Okay,
I think we're going to get, because we have got more returns on. We have got more returns on the horizon. Some I think will be unannounced, because I think the Jake thing is a very good. The Jake thing I think is a very good sign, because I've heard tell that the guy who plays Jake's even quit acting. Like, I don't think he does that much work anymore in terms of act. I don't know if that's true or not, but I've heard that he's quit acting. So for Clenners to be able to say, "Come back for this, then go on, let's do this."
Well, I saw he did a little interview after last night's episode, Thursday night's episode, and he said, you know, they said, "Do you want to come back for a day?" And he said, "For just a day of filming." And he said, "Yeah, go on then." And he wasn't expecting to be going back to the square. He thought it were going to be like a scene outside
prison or something. Yeah.
So he said, obviously it's a new set, it's a new location, isn't it, where it is? And he said, "Oh, it just felt the exact same though, but we're like," he said,
less creaky.
He said it felt like sharper or something.
Yeah, less creaky. It felt more HD, less creaky.
Yeah.
But apparently
he couldn't see anyone, because obviously it was being kept a secret.
Yeah.
But then they said, "Right, we need you to test like that you can drive this car, okay?" And he said it was like the loudest thing. So like if people didn't know he were back for that scene before, they definitely did when he was driving that car out. Yeah.
So that's fun. And then, talking of returns, we also get some Ruby talk this week, because it turns out that Ruby and Chrissy shared a cell.
Of course they did. Why not? Why not?
To be fair, though, we say that, but I would also like to point out the amount of people that get sent to prison in EastEnders. You would imagine there would be some crossover at some point. So I'm glad that that's actually. You know,
but to share a cell, it would have been a bit more believable. Like, we were here at the same time, but what did they just like make besties and say, "Come on, can we flat share while we're here?"
They would,
God,
why not? But maybe. Chrissy reveals to Sharon that Ruby went away because she went off to have a baby, and that very much sets the seeds for Martin discovering that he has another child, and for a Ruby return further down the road. Very interesting. I still stick with Ruby anniversary being very significant. I think I think Ruby's going to be a massive part of the anniversary. So watch this space with that. But you know, Jake returning, I thought was lovely. I really enjoyed that. Again, I think it's a really good sign for what's to come for. We've got 5 months now till the anniversary. I think the returns are going to keep coming thick and fast. We know about a few of them. I think there's going to be some unannounced ones. The fact that they're getting away with doing some of these unannounced returns is a very good sign and an exciting sign.
Yes.
Let's see what happens. So, Gold Star this week, Ree, what do you reckon?
I'm going to give mine to Sharon, because I think you'll be giving it to...
I mean,
who are you going to give it to?
I don't know. I mean, I probably should give it to Chrissy, just in terms of the fact. Yeah, screw it, Sharon. I mean, the thing is, I always like to give the gold stars to people that are going to hang around, though. So there's like some sort of build up. But I guess. Okay. Yeah, no, Sharon and
Chrissy. Give it to who you want.
You know who I'm going to give it to? You are going to give it to Dor.
Yeah, Dor. That's what I thought when you were pondering. Are you going to give it to Dor?
Because we're going to see Dor again. I guarantee it. The door is wide open for Dor. So there we go.
Hey.
Sharon and Dor for the gold stars this week, but it was nice to see. It was nice to see Chrissy again. It was a big bit of fun. It was a bit of a blast. Enjoyed it. Good week, and we'll find out what you thought about this week in the comment section this week. Before we tackle some comments, we had a rather large bit of news announced this week. Oh yeah. You know that 40th thing that's happening next year, 5 months away from here?
Yeah.
We've had some announcements about what's going to happen for it, and it is very bloody exciting. So it turns out EastEnders is going live for a full episode as part of its celebrations for its 40th anniversary. But this time with a twist, as the audience will have the power to decide the outcome of one storyline. In a first for the soap, the anniversary week will include an interactive element where the viewers will be able to choose their desired outcome of a love story. Whilst those in question currently remain under wraps, their fate will remain firmly in the viewer's hands, and the outcome will play out during the live episode, as the cast and crew will be set to adapt the scene to portray whichever result is voted for by the public. I bet the cast were thrilled when they found that out.
It's not too bad rehearsing two
No.
different outcomes and then just performing whichever
As if
one people
live episode's
pick.
not bad enough. It's like, oh yeah, that
Well,
scene.
there is
Yeah,
that.
just use that. Oh God, it would drive me crazy, the stress of that. Chris Clenshaw, executive producer, has said the 40th anniversary is a milestone event for EastEnders, and we have been planning this week for a long time to ensure that it's a week full of drama and surprises. In fact, as our regular audience will know, we have already seen the return of familiar faces and have many more nods to our history to come, which will all build up to our momentous anniversary week. This time, as well as going live, we are adding an extra twist, and for the very first time in the history of the show, and as a gift to the viewers, we are giving the audience the power to have their say in choosing the outcome of one of our storylines. Whilst we're still keeping the finite details of the 40th close to our chest, I can promise that it will be an unmissable week full of shocking twists that will change Albert Square and the lives of those who live in it forever.
Forever?
Forever. How bloody exciting.
So a love story. Who's it going to be
Yes.
between?
So, I mean, it's really interesting to sort of give this, because let's be fair here, okay? I very much doubt whether the choice is going to be something of huge consequence, because some of the audience are nutters and they'll do something crazy. And but I also wonder.
Yeah, but it's just a choice. It'll be a choice
it's a nice
given,
little,
so it's not like right at the ending.
No, and it's a nice little treat, I think, just to kind of get the audience involved. And it's a genius way of getting the ideas like flowing, getting the audience talking about the show again, the same way that the sixth storyline did. You can sort of talk about the outcome that you want. I think it's going to be interesting because you sort of wonder, how are you going to demonstrate the fact that this is a choice to the audience? Because one of the key factors of a drama is you making the audience feel things for the characters. So is it going to be that they're going to make it very definitive that like the audience will be split about who they want to get with, or will it be sort of quite obvious, because if, for example, the Ruby stuff is what this is about, and we're given the choice between Ruby and Martin or Stacey and Martin, I feel like Stacey and Martin would win all day long because the audience absolutely adore Stacey and Martin together. So I wonder how much choice is actually going to be. Like, are they going to make it a clear, like, some of you like this, some of you like this? Is it going to be that sort of thing, or how's it going to work, I wonder?
Well, my first thought was it's going to be about, should Kat and Alfie get back together, or Kat and Phil, maybe. I don't know why that's in my head.
Maybe.
Or Sharon and Phil and Kat and Phil. But then I was thinking, what about Denise and Jack? Because obviously they didn't finalise their divorce. Is it going to be about them? Because we're seeing that kind of... But then...
Cindy?
Also, I was thinking that maybe Ronnie and Roxy will somehow come back, and it'll be about whether Ronnie should get back with Jack or Denise. And obviously we'll say Ronnie, and it doesn't matter because they faked their own death, and it's fine, and they're back for the 40th forever. Forever, right?
Yes. We can pray. But how bloody exciting. I gotta say, I didn't think we'd get another live episode. I really didn't, because as much as we love the soap genre isn't as cataclysmically important to television as it used to be. So, and I imagine live episodes cost a hell of a lot of money. So I was doubtful whether they'd be able to do a live episode again, but they totally are. So that is so exciting. And live episodes are great, aren't they? Because that means that we have to watch it live. So anything could happen. Oh, I'm really, really, really excited.
It's a bit like what they did for Christmas Day for us last year by showing it later, so that you all had to watch it together. There's no spoilers going to happen either. If you've not had a chance to watch it at 6 a.m. and someone's uploaded it on TikTok or whatever.
I can't wait. I'm really, really excited. But we still don't really know what the story is going to be about, though, do we? Because I feel like the sixth storyline is going to be well done and dusted by that time that comes along. So the Cindy stuff, I think it's going to be at Christmas. Maybe Nish. Maybe that might be a big part of it.
I was just wondering that, but you're going to be dead by then.
You'd think. I think we've got a very busy few months coming our way. It's very, very exciting. So let's have some comments.
Got a comment from This Is Joe too. Loved seeing Tracy Ann Oberman back for a stint on EastEnders. I think some of the scenes with her and Sharon must have been confusing to younger viewers that don't know the Den Watts history, but I really enjoyed it. Loved Dor. Hope she becomes a resident on the square.
Yes, Joe, quite right. Yes, doors wide open for Joe. I did wonder this week, like, how much the audience would be able, like a younger audience might be able to sort of know exactly who Chrissy is, especially Jake. I feel like there might have been some viewers that sort of, like, when Jake appeared, like, who the hell's that? But I think they gave you a good history lesson throughout the week as to what the storyline was. We got plenty explained to us about Jake, I think, by the time he actually turned up. So I thought that, they covered it all quite well. And it was a double Lauren Clee at the start of the week, and we know our Lauren Clee's very, very good. So yeah, I think it was covered quite well. I think you wouldn't have been any doubt about the Chrissy stuff and who they all were. And finally, Chad Elliott Price has said the video from Lola for Janet's birthday was some serious forward thinking. Yes, I did like that moment. So obviously Janet was 18 this week. Janet's 18, and I was going to say Grace has played Janet since birth. That's crazy, isn't it? Yeah,
it's more 18. Crazy because I very 18. Vividly remember Honey being pregnant.
So do I.
It's quite that Janet's now 18.
It's quite depressing, isn't it? Really, we are really, really old. Really, that's the problem with that.
You're older than me, so you're really, really
got
old.
Your face up, please. But yes, the Lola video was a nice touch. I have to wonder how many of these has Danielle Harold done?
Loads. Absolutely loads. I reckon so. Yeah, there'll be one for every one of Lexi's birthdays till she's 21, I reckon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then Janet's probably going to go have one on her 21st. Will might have one on his 18th.
Yeah, whenever Lexi gets married, she's going to have one there. Yeah, so it's going to be a whole video library. Danielle Harold's going to be raking it in from EastEnders for many years to come, and she's not even on there at the show anymore.
Fair play to her.
Good gig if you can get it. Right then, ladies and gents, that's it for this week. If you'd like to get in touch with us via any of the following means, you can.
You can find us on Facebook at Albert Square After Dark, on Twitter and Instagram at E20 After Dark. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. You can listen to us on Apple and all your favourite podcast sites. Drop us an email at e20afterdarkpodcast@gmail.com. And if you'd like to buy us a coffee, you can do so by going on buymeacoffee.com/E20 After Dark.
Yes, you can indeed. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. We should be back same time next week, and we cannot wait to see you. Until then, it's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
See you next week. Goodbye.
Bye. Bye.